You can easily build a workflow in Plannr to set up a standard process for you and your team to work with for all your regular and repeated tasks. Heading to the Settings area, you can select Workflow and then click Add New. We're going to give the workflow a name. Let's call this one Annual Review. To start building your workflow, you need to add some tasks to it. Click Add New Task to create the first item on the list. We will give the task the name Send Fact Find Request to Client for an update and set the priority to medium. We'll put the status as not started and leave the task due date set to 0 days after it is generated. This means that it will fall due immediately as soon as the workflow is triggered. We will say no to auto-assigning this task to the client and the advisor, as we want this task to be undertaken by the assigned administrator. Selecting Yes here means that the task will be assigned to the administrator of each client you trigger the workflow against. If you have a specific employee or group that you wish to carry out the task instead, you can select them here. Click Save, and we've created our first workflow task. Clicking into this main task, we are now going to create a subtask to book a face-to-face meeting. In the task description, we're going to ask the team member to ensure the fact find has been completed by the client in their client portal before the meeting date. We will set this as a high priority, not started, and to fall due 3 days after it is generated. This will allow time for the client to update their fact find before the meeting. Again, we will set this to auto-assign to the administrator and click Save. To this subtask, we will now create a triggered task. A triggered task will only show on the employee's task list once the parent task has been marked as complete. Here we will add Book and prepare the meeting room. Fill out the usual details, assign it to the employee required, and hit Save. You will see that the triggered task in the workflow has a lightning symbol next to it, indicating that it will only be visible once the previous task is complete. Heading back to the main workflow, we will create another parent task by clicking Add New Task again. This time we will add Write Up Meeting Notes and assign this to the advisor. Following this, we'll add a triggered task to pass these notes to the paraplanning team to prepare an annual review report. Lastly, we will create a final task to issue report with recommendations and assign this to the advisor too. If at any point you need to change the order of your workflow tasks, you can simply drag and drop in place. You have now built a new workflow. To trigger a workflow against a client, simply head to their contact record and, from Actions, select Start Workflow. Choose the desired workflow, and in the Client Task board from the side menu you will find the tasks that have been populated and assigned to the relevant parties as required. You can trigger a workflow automatically if you wish via our automation engine, but more on that in another video.